So switching over, we're going to our pass catchers. I'm guessing this is Koa's first round because he knocked me for picking a quarterback in the first round. So pass catchers. If I gotta have one, believe it or not, it's Travis Kelce. Travis Kelce is always open, regardless of the coverage, regardless of what happens, and he's Patrick Mahomes' favorite receiver. So he's kind of the safety blanket. He doesn't get hurt often, and he averages 12.2 yards per catch. So this is a guy who's going to catch the ball, have yak yards, and he's going to be on intermediate routes. He's kind of just the safety blanket, and that's a pick that can rattle up a couple of times once he gets going.
Honestly, I don't disagree. When you said that we're going to do the receiving, which included receivers and tight ends, I'm not gonna lie. Last year, Travis Kelce saved me. He saved my season. So Travis Kelce is definitely a must pick up. But for my pick, I was gonna go off to his teammate. I do expect this to be the year of Kadarius Toney. I do think Kadarius Toney, if he stays healthy, another year in this offense with Andy Reid and Patrick Mahomes, of course, and of course all the attention that Travis Kelce is going to garnish. If there's one receiver on that team that I think that will that will break out, I do believe that Kadarius Toney is a sleeper pick. So if you guys do,
you don't think it's Sky Moore on the other side?
Nah, I think it's Kadarius. But it depends. It depends on his health though, because that's been his issue. But I mean, Kadarius Toney's only been targeted on 17.3% of all NFL snaps. But we saw in the playoffs how just all it took was a few plays in the game where Kadarius got the ball and he made some game-changing plays like the punt return. That's what he did. So there's a lot of I do expect this year to be the year of Kadarius Toney. Sure.
My second pick, especially at that pass catcher's position, is going to be Jalen Waddle. A lot of eyes are going to be looking at Tyreek Hill because he's Tyreek Hill. You really can't press it. You can't do anything about it. But you can't play double. You can't double two receivers at one time. And so once you know that, you'll see that Jalen Waddle is open a lot of the times. And Jalen Waddle and Tyreek Hill combined for 287 targets last year, meaning that Tua is almost exclusively throwing those two people the ball. And defenses know that and obviously can't stop it because Jalen Waddle averaged 18 yards per catch last season.
That's crazy.
And he gets going. So especially on those screen passes that they love to run, Jalen Waddle is all over the place. As you see, he kind of lines up everywhere. So I think Jalen Waddle, especially once he gets going, is gonna be a yak yard machine. And being on the other side, Tyreek Hill is always gonna help you.
Don't disagree there. I don't disagree. 18 yards is crazy. I did not know that. Did that not lead the league?
It might have been up there. I can check for you real fast. Once you go, who was yours?
My number 2 was a fellow receiver in that same state of Florida. It's going to be Calvin Ridley. I do think
a lot of Falcons fans don't feel iffy about that one because they didn't like him when he was there in Atlanta.
I did not. He's still he is a false number one. If like Monday night, Jair Alexander, 0 catches, 0 yards. I'll never forget that moment ever in my life as a Falcons fan. But with Trevor Lawrence in an offense with Christian Kirk, which say what you want, he got overpaid, but he's still better than average. And you have Evan Ingram, who did break out this past season. I think that he's the de facto number 1 receiver on that team. And I do believe that Trevor Lawrence and him can be a low-key dynamic duo in the league. His route running, his change of speed is still, I won't say second to none. It's still very, like his route running is top 5, I do believe. And I think that Calvin Ridley is going to have something to prove this year. And I think people may have forgotten him. So if you see him kind of slipping a little bit, go ahead and pick him up. And I think that Calvin Ridley is going to have a bounce-back season.
I don't hate that. My third pick is a guy who's always kind of in the mix. I'm not necessarily too big of a fan of his quarterback after some of the interceptions he threw, but Stephon Diggs is always going to be someone that you can kind of lean on a lot, especially in the pass game. Because, one-on-one, really no one can guard him. And when you look at the Buffalo Bills, there aren't really a lot of big-name receivers on that team or receivers getting as much separation as Stephon Diggs. And you can obviously, if you've watched them for the past 3 years, you can tell that Josh Allen obviously has a favorite. It's almost like Diggs is down there somewhere, and he's always going to give him a one-on-one catch. Diggs is a top. I would argue. He's either top 3 or top 5 receiver in the game. Personally, to me, I think you can get a little edgy. I would say he's better than a lot of other receivers, especially because I mean the separation, the route running. I would pick Diggs if you could.
Top 3 stretch, top 5. Okay, maybe.
Name 3 better than him.
JJ. Devontae.
Devontae was okay.
Devontae's better, bro.
He was okay. Stop. I mean, he's gonna disappear out. Who's throwing him the ball this year?
Jimmy G.
All right, we'll see. We'll see if we remember his name by the end of the season.
That's crazy.
I'm telling you, I don't think it'll be a lot.
I'm not even finished the list because if you're saying Devontae, then we just can't have a combo, bro.
Who is your third receiver or pass catcher?
My third, it's a low-key pick. I was deciding between Jameson Williams, but that's more of like a underrated, like low risk, high reward. But I'm going with Jahan Dotson. I think that his rookie season was honestly the whole rookie class of receivers last year was a really good one. Jahan Dotson had 7 touchdowns over 12 games, and actually over the last 5 games he had 3 touchdowns. So this is going to be a new offense with a new OC and Eric Bieniemy, which they already try to slander the man. And the preseason hasn't even started, which is actually
they over
insane.
there being soft. They over there being soft, talking about he coached them too hard, but they never won. It's honestly pretty laughable. And I know we only said 3, but if I could have one more, you can name one more if you want to. Darren Waller is going to be extremely interesting for the New York Giants because he's a guy who literally lines up everywhere. So he's a mismatch waiting to happen because I don't believe sometimes safeties are too small to guard Darren Waller and sometimes linebackers aren't fast enough to guard Darren Waller. So especially if he's looking for that safety blanket over there because Kenny Golladay has disappeared from the face of the earth. There is
man got somebody paid and left, bro. Man got paid and never showed up.
Pretty much disappeared. Did you have one more?
No, we can end it on that.
We ended on that. All right.